The night the Whitmore family gathered to celebrate their matriarch's 80th birthday, the house shimmered with polished silver, quiet ambition, and unspoken expectations. Every room echoed with one name, Evelyn Whitmore, the jewel of the family. She was flawless in every way that seemed to matter, successful, poised, admired. And tonight, her son Daniel was expected to make a decision that would shape the future of the Whitmore legacy. Daniel stood near the grand staircase, his fingers tracing the rim of a crystal glass. He wasn't looking at Evelyn. His eyes drifted instead toward the far corner of the room, where laughter was softer, less practiced, where someone most people overlooked stood quietly, adjusting a crooked picture frame. Her name was Lila. If Evelyn was the jewel, brilliant and admired, Lila was the hidden gem. She was Evelyn's younger sister, the one who never quite fit into the family's polished narrative. She wore simple dresses, worked at a community shelter, and spoke with a quiet sincerity that didn't compete well in rooms full of ambition. Daniel had spent his entire life being told who mattered. Evelyn built this family's name, his father would say. She's the future, and yet something in Daniel had always resisted that script. As guests clinked glasses and praised Evelyn's achievements, Daniel's mind wandered back to a rainy afternoon 6 months earlier. His car had broken down on the outskirts of the city, far from the comfort of Whitmore influence. Frustrated and soaked, he had knocked on the nearest door. It was Lila who answered. She didn't recognize him at first. She didn't see the Whitmore name, only a man in need. She welcomed him in, offered him dry clothes, and made him tea with trembling hands that spoke of long days and quiet sacrifices. That afternoon, Daniel saw something he'd never seen in his own world. Kindness without calculation. He noticed the worn furniture in her small home, the stack of handwritten letters from people she had helped, and the empty fridge she tried to laugh off. When he asked why she never came to family gatherings, she shrugged. "I don't really belong in rooms where people measure worth by applause," she said gently. That sentence had stayed with him. Now, standing in the middle of a room full of applause, Daniel felt its weight. "Daniel," Evelyn's voice cut through the noise, confident and warm. "It's time." The room quieted. All eyes turned toward him. Tonight, Daniel was expected to announce who would take over the Whitmore Foundation, a powerful organization with the ability to change thousands of lives. The choice was obvious to everyone. Evelyn, the jewel. She stepped forward, already smiling, already prepared. Daniel's heart pounded, but his voice, when it came, was steady. "I've spent my whole life being told what success looks like," he began. "I was taught to admire brilliance, to chase recognition, to value perfection." Evelyn's smile widened slightly. "But somewhere along the way," Daniel continued, "I realized something important. The brightest thing in the room isn't always the most valuable." A ripple of confusion passed through the crowd. Daniel turned, his gaze landing on Lila. She froze. "I met someone who showed me what real impact looks like," he said. "Someone who gives without expecting anything back. Someone who changes lives quietly, without applause, without recognition." Evelyn's smile faltered. "And I realized I've been looking at the wrong definition of greatness." The silence in the room deepened. Daniel took a breath. "The future of the Whitmore Foundation won't be led by the jewel everyone sees," he said softly. "It will be led by the hidden gem most people overlooked." Gasps filled the air. "Lila," he said, his voice gentler now, "I want you to lead it." For a moment, time seemed to stop. Lila shook her head instinctively, her hands trembling. "Daniel, no, I'm not." "You are," he said, stepping toward her. "You already do the work. You already live the mission. You don't need a title to prove your worth, but this foundation needs someone like you." Tears welled in Lila's eyes. Evelyn stood frozen, her expression unreadable. For the first time in years, she wasn't the center of the room. "I don't know how to run something like that," Lila whispered. Daniel smiled softly. "You know how to care. We can figure out the rest." The room shifted, slowly, subtly. People who had never noticed Lila before began to really see her. Not her clothes, not her quietness, but her. And then something unexpected happened. Evelyn stepped forward, all eyes turned to her again. For a moment, it seemed like she might object, reclaim her place, restore the balance everyone expected. But instead, she looked at Lila, really looked at her. I always thought being seen meant being valued, Evelyn said quietly, her voice losing its usual sharpness. But maybe I was wrong. She hesitated, then gave a small, almost reluctant smile. You've been doing the work I only talked about. Lila blinked, stunned. Evelyn turned to Daniel. You chose well. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, but it was the most genuine thing Evelyn had ever said. And in that moment, something shifted, not just in the room, but in the family itself. The celebration continued, but it felt different now, softer, warmer, real. Later that night, as guests trickled out and the house grew quiet, Lila stood on the back porch staring at the stars. I'm scared, she admitted as Daniel joined her. Good, he said. That means you care. She let out a shaky laugh. Everything's about to change, Daniel nodded. Yeah, but not who you are. Lila looked at him, her eyes shining. Why me? She asked. Out of everyone, why did you choose me? Daniel paused, then answered simply. Because you would have chosen everyone else first. Lila's breath caught, and in that quiet moment she understood. The world often celebrates the loudest, the brightest, the most visible. It calls them jewels, polished, admired, placed on display. But sometimes the true power lies in what's hidden, in the quiet acts of kindness no one applauds, in the unseen sacrifices, in the people who show up again and again, not for recognition, but for humanity. Those are the ones who change the world. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Lila felt something new settle in her heart. Not confidence, not certainty, but purpose. And sometimes that's even stronger, because in the end, it wasn't the jewel that defined the legacy, it was the hidden gem that transformed it.